What are you looking at, Zeph? Get your hair. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Gallup, New Mexico. Yes, we are close to the New Mexico-Arizona state line, like about 16 miles, I think. Yeah, well, Gallup, New Mexico, that's where we are. I had an awesome day, but first of all, how was your Serenity Sunday? Did you, oh God, my hair looks a mess. I'm sorry, I didn't even think to brush it. I'm actually going to go and have a shower later. I should have done this after my shower, but waiting for the hot water to heat up. Not that I need a hot shower, but it takes the chill out just a little bit. Anyway, Serenity Sunday. So what did you do today to relax? We drove 204 miles in 3 hours and 55 minutes with no stops. Not sure I would do that again, but it was a pretty easy drive. I mean, we just put the thing into cruise control and off we went. The only time we came off cruise control was when we had a traffic jam, and that was just after we got out of Albuquerque. After we left Albuquerque, there was a sign that said next rest area 50 miles. Now, usually when you see a next rest area sign, it means that you are by a rest area. That has been our experience so far. That they put up there, you know, rest area 1 mile, and then they put next rest area X number of miles. And I thought, and I'm looking around, no sign for a rest area. So I thought 50 miles, that's not too bad. That's about another hour. So that wasn't too bad since we'd only been on the road like about 40 minutes at that point. So I thought, we'll just keep going. So we're chugging along quite nicely at our 63, cruise control at 63. And we suddenly come to this big traffic jam. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I pull out my little handheld CB radio. Can't get anything on that. Nothing, nobody's talking. So we just keep plodding along and going a little thing. And I have to tell you, 2 lanes of traffic, bumper to bumper, a lot of trucks. I think I saw more trucks today than I did any other vehicle. There were a lot of 18-wheelers out there today. I didn't expect to see so many 18-wheelers today. I swear I saw more 18-wheelers than I did any other vehicle today. And you could see them. In some places, you're crest over the top of a hill, and you just look down. There was just this big row of 18-wheelers as far as the eye could see, and then you could see this row coming towards you on the other side. It was truckers' paradise out there or something. I don't know. But as we're getting up, there's a little sign that comes that says roadworks, left lane closed. Now right lane was closed, so we had to move over to the left. But they said a mile, so I start moving over when I see the truckers moving over. And so I saw the trucks in front of me move over, so I moved over as well. There's a kind driver let me in, so they got the little flashy lights. I got a little lever on my little button on my dash there that I can flip, which flicks the back lights to say thank you. And I look out the side mirror into the right lane where we'd just come from, and there's this car ripping up the side there, and all of a sudden this truck just pulls out in front of it. I was like, I love truck drivers. Because when you're coming up where you have to merge to one lane and everybody's starting to move over, you do not go rip-roaring up the other lane, because that means that somebody now has to slam their brakes on to let you in. It's sort of like everybody's stuck in the traffic. Just kick back, relax, and enjoy. You didn't have any flashing lights on top, so you weren't an emergency vehicle. And so when the truck pulled out in front of, and the really cool part was the truck pulled out and you could see the pickup truck that was behind that 18-wheeler pulls up so that the other vehicle could not get in between into that right lane and try and overtake the truck that way. So it was kind of cool to see that. And then I see another truck pulled out behind him as well. So they kind of boxed this racing driver in between these cars and the pickup and the 2 big trucks. So he got boxed in there for a little bit. And I was like, yes. Love my truck drivers. They're so much fun to follow. They really are. So it ended up being 3 miles of traffic jam until we got free and clear of that. Then we get past there and it says 15 miles to rest area, and I'm like, yes, I'm getting close, because I was about ready for a break at that point. And we come up and we're driving along, and I'm like, okay, we were at mile marker 117, so for 15 miles that puts us at 102. So we get to 102 is an exit. There's a gas station there. They had this big parking lot there, and there was a sign right at the entrance to the off-ramp that said rest area open. I thought, oh good, the rest area is open, so it must be just the other side. Yeah, no, we never did find the rest area. I'm like, was it that big parking lot by the gas station? was that the rest area? Because all I could see were just trucks. I mean, every time we passed gas stations that would cater to trucks, you would just see trucks. You'd see them all over the place. I thought, was that the rest area? And so we keep going, no rest areas. I still don't know, because when it says rest area open, you're like, yes, where's the sign? And where's the big sign that says rest area and points you off in an arrow? None of that. It just said rest area open. But no signs as to where the rest area was, what exit to take, or anything. And I'm like, okay, so we're over 100 miles at this point. We have driven over 100 miles. No rest areas to be found. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just pull off on the shoulder or something. And, we can, but they had, shoulders for emergency uses only. I thought, okay, all right. And so we just kept tootling along and put it back into 63 and off we went and all that sort of stuff, and never passed another rest area. And in fact, we never passed a rest area on the entire 204-mile drive today. None whatsoever at all did we pass any rest areas. We passed signs for rest areas, but nothing showing that there was a rest area. Telling us, 50 miles, 15 miles, rest areas open, but there were no signs to say, here is the rest area. You guys need a little more signage here in New Mexico. But one thing we did do today is we crossed the Great Continental Divide, and I said, we did that 10 years ago when Brad and I drove along, because I'm on the I-40. So as we're driving on the I-40 today, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's that oil refinery thing we took a photograph of, because I remember that photograph. It's on the blog that we wrote about our trip that day. And then when I got off and galloped to come down to the RV park, I'm passing these hotels and I'm like, that looks like where we stayed that night after we did that. Was that where we... So now I've got to go and find the blog that I wrote 10 years ago about our trip across the Great Continental Divide along the I-40 through New Mexico and all that, and find out where we stayed that night, because as I'm coming down the street going, this looks really familiar. And I thought, that looks like the hotel we stayed at. When we were traveling with Gus at the time, we were in this stinky room and we ordered Chinese, and they wouldn't take a credit card over the phone. You had to go in with, if you want to use a credit card, you had to go into the store. And we said, look, we just drove however many miles we'd driven that day. We are not going anywhere. If you want to process that order and you want to get paid, you've got to come here and get it. And I think that one ended up being a cash order or something. I don't remember, but we got Chinese and it wasn't the greatest Chinese. It was the only takeout place we could find in town. Where we were, but driving down the street, it's like, this looks so familiar. Whether there's other ones that like this, don't know. But we got here, great campground, love it. It's all gravel, which is nice. Oh, except the road areas are asphalt. The sites are all gravel and very level sites. Did not take a much. Now that I've figured out how to actually work my levelers, did not take much to actually make it 0-0 on my little. I have a little Spirit app on my thing that's got a little ball in the middle that shows you how on target you are with your X's and your Y's, and I got it zeroed today. I was like, yes. And we're like 5 or 6 sites from the dog park. If you go to Zephy's Great Adventures, we did a video from there this afternoon. It was like 90 degrees outside. It's probably still 90 degrees inside here. It's meant to get down to 69 tonight, so at some point soon we will be opening the windows up when it gets a little cooler to let the cross breeze come through. All pull-through sites, full hookups, and we got given this little piece of paper when we checked in that said that tomorrow night they will be serving smoked barbecue pulled pork sandwiches at the cookout from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. takeout only, and it's $5 per sandwich, comes with a bag of chips, and then you get ice cream and apple crisp will be sold from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. $1 per scoop and $2 per apple crisp. And I thought, why not? For $8 I get dinner. I would end up with a pulled pork sandwich, a bag of chips with ice cream and apple crisp. Takeout only, which means I'll probably have to go down there. Yeah, I'll go down there like around 7 o'clock so I can make sure I can bring back the apple and the apple crisp and the ice cream as well. You can purchase tickets at any time at the office, and please remember to wear masks and practice social distancing. Yeah. I did wear my mask inside. I lasted a minute before I asked the guy if it was okay if I took it off. Mind you, he had a whole bandana thing right around his face and around his head. One of those sleeve things that you put over your face and then you can, over your neck, and then you can pull it up and you can do like about 25 different things with it. And I said, do you mind if I take the mask off? I said, I cannot breathe with this thing on. And he says, doesn't bother me at all. He says, but just to warn you that some place you go into, they will require you to have the mask on. I said, totally get that. I said, that's why I was asking. I said, I just cannot breathe with these things on. So he allowed me to take it off. I just went for a wander around, and their grocery section was very bare. There was a couple of cans of soup there. There was a box of crackers. There wasn't even any chocolate. No chocolate. And I looked in there and I thought, well, they've got a freezer section here. What have they got in there? 2 bags of ice. I'm like, okay. We got plenty of soda there. But they had basically nothing in their grocery store area. And of course, I did not stop and get groceries today. Oh, thank goodness I have my stock. Because underneath the dinette here, I have 2 drawers. One's a pantry, one's my work stuff. And then I've got a cupboard up there that's got stuff in it. My cupboards under the sink has stuff in it. And I got my protein shakes, and my freezer has got fruits and vegetable mixes in there. So I actually have frozen fruits and vegetables together in serving size pouches that I can take out and just throw one of those into the blender with my protein powder and my water and my coconut milk, and blend me up a nice, yummy, nutritious smoothie. So, might be doing that tonight for dinner. Only because I don't feel like cooking anything. It is so hot here, and I had to put the hot water on. So the other reason I haven't showered yet was because I'm waiting for the hot water to heat up. But then I won't be using a lot of hot water. It'll be mainly cold. It's just to take the ice out of the water. Although I'm probably not going to have any of that anyway, because the sun's been on the thing. But you know, we'll see how that goes. And then just before we went live, we hear this roar go overhead. We're on the direct flight path to the airport, and I was like, yes. And Zephy's like, and if you watch the beginning of the video, she's busy looking out the window, and that's what she was watching. She was watching the Learjet come in. So had a Learjet go over top. It was kind of cool. I like my planes. What can I say? But you know, we're going to be here today and tomorrow. I've got a lot of work to do tomorrow, which is going to be awesome. Got some practice interviews to do. So we're going to have an awesome Magic Monday tomorrow. So how has your Serenity Sunday been? Has it been good? Have you had some chance to relax? Do whatever it is that you relax. I know some people have to be active, bit of adrenaline junkies to be able to get that calmness about them, and other ones are sort of like, I just want to sit back, put my feet up and relax. So we just took a nice leisurely drive, and yeah, actually I'm going to wait for it to cool down, because the bedroom's like 92 degrees, and I'm like, I don't want to get out of a shower into that. So yeah, we're going to wait, and I'll do a shower before I go to bed, because it's gross today. It was so hot and sticky, and even though it's very dry heat, we've been drinking copious amounts of water, and yeah, her bowl's almost ready to be filled up again. So anyway, so we had 3 hours 55 minutes non-stop from, where did we go from? Where did we leave from, Zeph? Santa Fe to Gallup in New Mexico. So we're still in New Mexico. Tuesday we go from here into Winslow, Arizona. We're going to be staying at by the crater, the meteor crater. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I see messages popping up on my screen here. My friends have had COVID. Oh, hope you guys are doing okay. My dear friends in Florida, both of them. Oh, hope you guys are okay. And I love seeing the messages from my friends. But I'm a little concerned about my friends in Florida who've had COVID. So I hope you guys are doing okay. But they just put theirs getting better, so that's a good thing. That's good to hear. And yeah, and Margaret, I do have to agree with you that the dinner menu does sound like a good idea. So I will be having that tomorrow night. So tomorrow night for dinner is going to be pulled pork sandwiches with a bag of chips and some ice cream and apple crisp. Yeah, can't say no to ice cream. I'm almost as bad as chocolate with that one. Yeah, and it is true. The journey I am on is not just a physical journey. It's also a very emotional journey as well, because there's days that you really just don't feel like getting behind. Like there's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, oh, I just want to sleep, and it's like, no, I got to get on a call at 9 o'clock. It's like, oh crap. Drag myself out of bed. And by the time I drag myself out of bed, there's just occasional mornings when it's like that. Usually I'm up, bubbly, super fantastic and sparkling, but just some days when you've had a crappy night's sleep, you just want to sleep a little longer and sleep in. But of course, Zephy's sort of like, I need to go out, Mum. And she'll sit there and she'll whine at me. Like, you are not going back to sleep. I know you've only had an hour's sleep last night, but you are going to get up and you're going to take me for a walk. So I will drag myself out of bed. But then once the clothes go on, I think it's the attitude changes. The clothes are on, okay, we're up, we're moving, it's going to be a super fantastic sparkling day no matter what, and we are out the door and off for our walk. And then we get back, and we're back in plenty of time to do our morning calls Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning. One of my own mountain time right now. It's going to be an hour earlier when I get into Arizona on Tuesday. So there's been some nights where it's been hard to sleep because it's been so damn hot. And Phoenix and Vegas are both going through heat waves right now where they have 3 digits. You know, they're up in the 105s to 110s or 115s and stuff like that in the Fahrenheit. And their overnight temperature is like 90. So if you're tuning in from New Zealand, they're like in the 40s during the day and in the 30s at night for the Celsius. It's ridiculous. And I'm sort of like, I really don't want to have to drive through that. I've never been in the RV when it's been so hot outside. And I really don't want to stay in that, nor do I want to drive through it. So at the moment, I'm trying to decide if I stay at the crater a little longer till the temperatures start dropping, or do I plow through anyway? And the ACs on RVs are very interesting pieces of equipment, because they only take the temperature down to 15 to 20 degrees cooler than what it is outside. So it's not like being in a house when you can turn it down to 66 degrees and bask in the iciness. No, it'll actually only take, even though you might have the thermostat set to 66, these ACs will keep going, and they alternate between the front and the back one going. If you've got them both on at the same time, they will alternate which one's going. So they're always blowing air, but one will have the AC on and then it switches off and the other one kicks on. So they actually go backwards and forwards with putting the AC on, but they will only cool the inside of the RV down to 15 to 20 degrees cooler than it is outside. Now, if I can get to a Walmart that has it, I've been reading up on how to keep the inside of the RV cooler. So here on the front window, because we have no blind, we have this silvery stuff, reflexy, I can't remember what it's called. It's some sort of reflect stuff. This is actually done up as one for the windscreen. It doesn't quite go all the way up the top, but it's about 3 feet tall, that one. You can get rolls of that, and then the idea being is that on the windows, you actually put the pieces on the actual glass, and then you put the blinds down to hold it up there, and it is supposed to keep the inside cooler as well. So it's supposed to be some way that helps. The other thing that helps too, and it's a cheap way because it doesn't cost a lot for that stuff. It's if you have to attach it to anything, because if you like the front door here, where you've got this big piece of glass, there's nothing there to hold it in place except the screen, and even then you've got you've got the gap here. But I can put the awning out on this side to actually shade from. It doesn't actually shade that window, but it can shade this window or this one, provided that we have no wind. Because if we have too high winds, I can actually end up damaging the awning, and then I have no shade. I'm actually staying out here in the main room because it is so hot in the bedroom right now. It is. You can actually feel the difference. And actually, it's starting to cool down a little bit. Let's see, where are we at? So I'm going to turn this around. So this is section 2, which is 92 degrees. There's the AC unit for the bedroom right there. And you can see I've got the vents closed off because I have these 2 air pieces open, and it does actually feel a little cool here. But that's still at 92, and it's been like that for, how long have we been here now? 3 hours, 4 hours since we got here. And zone 1 is down to 87. And that's the AC unit right there down that end. And it's got the fins open because that's meant to be like a quick. Remember I talked about these the other day? These are closed off to force the air through the ductwork, but this is like a quick, that doesn't even feel that cool. And that's a brand new AC system last year. This one I believe is still the original one, which is 14 years old, but the one behind me, the one here for the bedroom, that one was fully replaced last year. So yeah, so if I can find a Walmart tomorrow that has that reflective stuff, then I'm going to buy a big roll of it, and it's like $30 for like 100 yards of the stuff. It's not expensive stuff to get. And then I will be plastering it on the windows as much as I can, finding, putting it out there, putting it up against the glass, putting the shades down for the living room slide out. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach it behind the curtains at the front, or the door, or the kitchen window, but the bedroom window, I definitely wanted to get those done as well. But we've got a fan going in the bedroom. I've got one out here going. I've got ice in the freezer to put into cold water and stuff to help cool the water down. So we're doing the best we can, and it's only meant to be, 92 is what the temperature is outside right now. So the only difference is that we have I'm going to stand here because there's actually a nice cold breeze coming down here right now. So even though but then the temperature thing for this room, I've got to show you. So the AC unit's there for this area. This is the thermostat sensor here, which is directly below this, which is the AC unit for the bedroom. And then in the bedroom here is the sensor for in here. So, yeah. And if you just heard that noise, it was a plane going overhead. Did you see the plane this time? No? So, yeah. So we're going to work on it, and I'll probably take a cold shower tonight before I go to bed, just to help cool off a little bit, and then we'll open up the windows. The only problem with being in a place like this again, like we've had the last few nights, is that it's dry and it's dusty, and my sinuses don't like the dust and the dirt. So if we do get a cross breeze going, we're going to end up very dusty in here, and I'll probably end up half the night sneezing with all the dust that gets up the nose. So, do I want to cool down and get some sleep, or do I just want to stay hot and toss and turn all night? So these are things we have to think about living in an RV, some of the challenges. And I haven't put my wheel covers on yet. So I do have UV shields for the tires, so that when we're in places where it is hot, we actually have covers that go over the wheels to help protect the wheels from the heat and the UV rays and that sort of thing as well. And I was out there early after I brought Zephy back, but it was so damn hot. I was like, I am not going back out there to put those wheel covers on. It's just too damn hot. So I'll wait for a little bit and for it to cool down a little bit, and then I'll go put the wheel covers on so that they're protected tomorrow. Because if you get too much UV on the tires, it will break them down, and then you can end up with all sorts of not fun things happening. But anyway, that's it from me for now. Zephy's now up front watching the planes go overhead, because that was the second one that just went through. But yeah, so have a super fantastic sparkling rest of your Serenity Sunday. We're going to go and relax, and I'm going to actually go make a shake, because that'll be nice and cold, and it'll be full of electrolytes too, so it'll help hydrate as well. So have a super fantastic sparkling rest of your Serenity Sunday, and we will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Hekonera.